Welcome, everybody, to Hands on Apologetics. You have entered into Virgin Most Powerful's Apologetics Dojo. The reason I'm laughing is I wish you could see what happens before showtime. Just sheer panic. All of a sudden, the Skype connections wants to reinstall stuff, and literally right at the tick, we go live. And it's working. So thanks be to God. So thanks, Richard. Sorry for the panic moment. I can't control my computer. It has a mind of its own. Anyway, welcome everybody to the program. And today's a very special program because I'm not going to be the host. The host is going to be our good friend, William Albrecht, who runs Patristic Pillars. He also has a fantastic channel on YouTube. Just William Albrecht is the title, and he's also the author of several great books. And today's the big day because today Revolt Against Reality has been released by Catholic Answers Press. I'm so excited. So I thought, actually, this was William's idea, that he could come on the show and he could interview me about the book. And so how you doing, William? Welcome to the show.
Gary, I'm doing very well. Thrilled that we were able to connect, and I have to share it with the audience as well. It seems to happen very often, not only during shows like this, but pretty much behind the scenes. I don't think people realize sometimes Skype or any of these other programs, they want to begin to reinstall or install an update right when it's showtime, almost all the time, brother.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just, that's just par for the course, or who knows? Maybe it's spiritual warfare. Who knows?
It could be.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, the weird thing about this book, William, is usually once I send the manuscript to the printer, it's like all the spiritual warfare ends. But for this book, it has been going on and on and on. So who knows? God willing, that's the last of any kind of spiritual pushback. But anyway, I am thrilled to have you on the show and have you in the sensei seat there and put me in the hot seat. And I have to say, the funny thing is, you have your review copy of the book. I have yet to get a copy of it, so I can't even hold my book up to show the audience.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Gary. When the last two books that we put out, you got copies before we did as well. That usually happens. But I want the audience. Hopefully, it does come out. It is a beautiful cover, beautiful looking book. Congratulations on it. And I have to tell you, Gary, what a great read. Everybody out there, from what I have looked at, because I've had people reach out to me and say, William, I can't find the book on Amazon. You're going to want to go to CatholicAnswers.com, Catholic.com, I believe, right?
Shop.Catholic.com. Yep.
My bad. Shop.Catholic.com. You will find it there. It is in stock, and they have it for a fantastic price right now. Great read. And Gary, I can tell why spiritual warfare does go on, because this is a very much needed book, very, very good book, particularly for the times that we're living in. For people wondering, Revolt Against Reality is the title of the book, and we'll get that. It'll appear. It appeared a little while ago. We'll get it to appear again in a little bit. Great book, Gary. But I want to ask you, before we dig in, and we're going to dig in real quickly, if you can tell me, what inspired the book?
Oh, it's just because the world be crazy, William. That's what inspired it. Things have been getting insane. When I wrote the book, this was a couple of years ago. Yeah. Things were nuts. And so I thought it'd be great to be able to look into the roots of how we got to where we are. And so there were some really great major works. In fact, I did a show about this, I think, last week. Major books that were huge puzzle pieces that explain parts of why things are the way they are. But unfortunately, they were very pedantic, very academic, so they're only the kind of books like you or I would read, no one else. And I thought, you know what, somebody needs to put these pieces together and just stitch it as a narrative so that you can see the big picture of where we started and where we're headed. And so that's when I thought, okay, I got to do a book. And I have to say, when I finished it, And actually, the engineer, Richard, helped me with the proofreading. So kudos to you, Richard. Um, I realized, you know what, this book really ends dark. You know, the last chapter, it was pretty bleak. And I thought, you know what, I need to finish at least on a good note, because people are going to say, where do we go from here? And so I added a chapter called Reality Strikes Back, where I started looking at how, you can't deny reality very long without it affecting things. And so I just, searched, looked around, tried to find some bright glimmers of hope, for that things aren't going to stay the way they are. And, I have to say, William, I'm really pleased, because that was a couple of years ago. And I have to say, a lot of the things that you find happening in the news is kind of expanding and fulfilling some of the things I have in that last chapter. So that tells me, it has predictive power, and I think it also has explanatory power. So hopefully I hit the target.
You have the way the book is divided up. I've got to tell you, Gary, when I opened up the book, and I remember opening it up and saying, okay, well, what does Gary have here? And I was captivated by every section of your book. And you know me, Gary, we'll get to a particular part where I particularly loved the Christological revolt, but we'll get to that later. In the beginning, you dig into the creation and the incarnation. Magnificent the way, and I appreciate the fact that you give much beautiful dedication to the Deuterocanon. A lot of books don't do that, but of course, coming from you, I know that you're always going to give wonderful attention to the Deuterocanon. What do we have here in that particular section of your book, the creation and the incarnation? What do you break down for us there, Gary?
Yeah, well, I mean, I start at the very beginning, because you can't understand the incarnation and its importance unless you understand creation and you understand how God creates. And of course, God is the real. He is existence himself. And so when he creates reality, it's a reflection of his own wisdom. He creates it through his word. And 1 Corinthians says that, Christ is the wisdom of God and the power of God. Everything is created through his word. So reality itself is linked in some, in a corresponding way to God himself. Yeah. So I get into some particulars. God's wisdom is manifested in creation because he makes things according to their kind. Okay, so it's not just not only shows his wisdom, but there's an order within the order of creation, and there's a particular way he creates, and I go into that in the book. And so that's like embedded in reality. You can't deny that.